You ever think you're living a normal life, minding your own business, and then suddenly you feel like you've stepped straight into a reality show where the villain is a power-hungry HOA president with the personality of a cranky parking meter? That was me last summer, and trust me, you haven't met chaos until you've seen a Karen with a clipboard and a superiority complex declare war on your guests. It all started on a sunny Saturday afternoon. My cousin Aaron and his wife came to visit for the weekend. Nothing crazy, nothing dramatic, just family catching up, grilling, relaxing by the pool. Then, as if summoned by the faint sound of laughter, she appeared. Karen, HOA president. Sunglasses perched like she expected paparazzi. Lips pursed so tight it looked like she was sucking lemons for sport. She marched across the sidewalk, shoes clacking like the soundtrack to Doom, and barked, "Your guests need to leave immediately. Homeowners must request guest passes 72 hours in advance. This is a community rule." Her voice had the tone of someone who practiced power speeches in the mirror. I blinked. Guest passes? For family? She smirked like she'd caught a criminal mastermind. Yes, and since you didn't request one, they need to leave, or you'll be fined. Aaron looked at me, confused. His wife whispered, "Is she serious?" Oh, she was serious. Dead serious. And she didn't stop there. She started taking photos of my driveway, my guests' license plates, even my backyard. She physically leaned over my fence to verify occupancy. Thought she might climb it next. But here's the thing. I'm not the type to back down just because someone weaponizes laminated HOA guidelines. I politely told her my guests weren't leaving. She stormed off, muttering about complaints, fines, and community standards, like she owned the place. Within an hour, I got an official violation email. Karen had reported unauthorized social gathering and excess occupancy. Seriously. A barbecue became a criminal event in her head. I had no idea this petty rule tantrum was just the opening act. Because while Karen tried to police my family visits, she was hiding something big, and soon her obsession with controlling everyone else would lead to her downfall in the most ironic way possible. And listen, if you think this sounds exaggerated, I wish it were. Every neighborhood has someone who treats minor authority like a crown and scepter. But Karen? She treated rules like scripture and herself as the prophet. I stayed calm, but a part of me sensed this wasn't over. This wasn't about guests. It was about power. And she didn't know she was about to lose it. The violation email wasn't even the worst part. Karen followed it up with a typed letter, taped to my door like she was serving a royal decree. The tone was dramatic. Failure to comply. Community disruption. Possible suspension of amenities. I actually laughed. Aaron joked that we should frame it like a trophy. But the universe has a funny way of balancing things. That same evening, as the sun dipped and we sat outside with lemonade, my neighbor Lisa walked over quietly. She glanced around like she was carrying state secrets and whispered, "You're not the only one she's harassing, but you should know something. She's renting her house out on the weekends." I blinked. "Wait, rented? As in Airbnb," Lisa finished. "Illegally. HOA rules strictly ban short-term rentals, but she does it all the time." I nearly choked on my drink. Karen, the same woman who tried to ban my family barbecue, was secretly running hotel operations out of her home? The irony hit hard. Suddenly everything clicked. Her obsession, her nosiness, her constant patrolling. She wasn't protecting the community. She was protecting her side hustle. "Oh, it gets better," Lisa continued. "She threatens everyone about guests to keep eyes off her. If anyone questions, she says it's family visiting. But they roll suitcases, have luggage tags, take selfies like tourists, and leave reviews online. I saw one. They called her Host Karen. Host Karen. I almost fell over laughing. Still, rumor wasn't enough. I wasn't going to accuse her without proof. But fate stepped in like it was tired of her nonsense. The very next morning, at 7 sharp, a rideshare pulled up in front of Karen's house. A couple hopped out with duffel bags. Then another car arrived. 2 more guests. One asked loudly, "Is this the Airbnb?" Karen rushed out of her yard looking like she'd swallowed a lemon whole. She hushed them frantically and ushered them inside. I counted 4 guests. "Remember," she threatened me for having 2 family members. Aaron whispered, "Please tell me you're catching this." Oh, you better believe I was. Phone out. Video rolling. License plates. Footage of luggage. Karen ushering strangers into her house like a secret concierge. I didn't confront her, not yet. Sometimes patience isn't weakness. It's strategy. Because I knew the HOA board meeting was in 3 days. And if Karen wanted to play rule enforcer, I was ready to bring the entire rule book down on her. That night, I searched online. Within minutes, I found her listing. Same counters, fence. She called it a cozy suburban retreat. Cozy, sure. Honest, not close. My shock shifted to excitement. Karma wasn't just coming, it was here. The HOA board meeting arrived, and the atmosphere felt like a courtroom showdown. Karen sat at the head of the table, posture straight, pearl necklace shimmering like she thought she was royalty presiding over peasants. Several board members sat beside her, all wearing polite smiles that hid exhaustion. Karen thrived on drama, and they knew it. She opened the meeting with her usual stern tone. Before we begin, I'd like to address ongoing violations regarding unauthorized guests. She looked directly at me, satisfaction practically glowing off her face. I smiled back, calm, patient, ready. When she finished her monologue, I raised my hand. Actually, I'd like to bring an issue to the board's attention as well. She blinked, clearly annoyed someone interrupted her spotlight. Personal matters can be emailed to the board, she snapped. Oh, this isn't personal, I replied. It's about ongoing community rule violations, specifically short-term rentals, which are explicitly banned in Section 12 of the HOA policy. A ripple of murmurs spread across the room. Karen stiffened. There are no short-term rentals here, she said quickly. Too quickly. I slid my phone across the table and pressed play. Video rolled, strangers with luggage, Karen ushering them in, rideshare cars arriving. Then came screenshots of the listing, photos matching her home, calendar bookings, and her superhost badge. Silence. Then a soft gasp from someone in the room. Karen's face drained of color. She reached for control. This is taken out of context, she sputtered. Those are family who leave public online reviews? I asked. One of them even thanked you for exceptional hospitality and flexible check-in. A board member cleared his throat. Karen, this is serious. She scrambled, papers rustling. We shouldn't jump to conclusions. I leaned back. When I had family over for one afternoon, you issued a violation within hours. Yet you've been operating a business in a residential HOA, community for profit. Quietly, secretly, while policing everyone else. One board member rubbed his temples, another whispered to a colleague. Finally, the treasurer spoke. We'll need to investigate this formally. And Karen, you'll have to recuse yourself from all enforcement matters until this is resolved. Karen's jaw dropped. She sputtered like an engine missing parts, but the board didn't budge. For once, she wasn't in control, and she knew it. The room shifted, like a knot had been cut loose. Neighbors exchanged glances of relief and disbelief. It felt like watching someone finally unplug the loudest speaker in the room. Karen gathered her papers with shaky hands, suddenly small in a space she once dominated. And deep down, everyone knew consequences were coming. The board members seemed lighter, like a storm had drifted away. The fallout came faster than anyone expected. Within 48 hours, an emergency HOA email went out. Karen was suspended pending investigation. Another message followed. All complaints she had filed in the past, 60 days were paused for review. It was poetic justice. The queen of rules dethroned by the very regulations she weaponized. Word spread quickly. Neighbors who once ducked indoors when she walked by now swapped stories like survivors of a quirky neighborhood regime. People smiled more. Kids rode bikes without fear of being scolded for unsafe driveway. Patterns. Someone even joked about throwing a no Karen cookout to celebrate community freedom. Meanwhile, the Airbnb listing vanished overnight, like it had never existed. But screenshots, timestamps, and my video told a different story. And when the HOA's attorney reviewed everything, the conclusion was clear. Karen had knowingly violated rules she enforced on others. She faced fines, a formal censure, and removal from her role. Her final appearance at a board meeting was almost surreal. No pearl necklace, no confident posture, no clipboard. Just a woman realizing the power she clung to was gone. She muttered about misunderstandings and temporary accommodations for friends, but no one bought it. The board voted unanimously to remove her. For the first time, living in the neighborhood felt peaceful. My guests came and went without fear of being interrogated. The community pool was full of laughter instead of whispered complaints. The HOA still had rules, but now it had fairness, balance, humanity. One afternoon, Lisa walked by and smirked. You know, you didn't just stand up for yourself. You freed the neighborhood. I shrugged. Honestly, I just wanted to barbecue in peace. She laughed. That's how revolutions start. Smoke from a grill and one brave neighbor. As for Karen, last I heard, she moved out quietly a month later. No dramatic speech, no final lecture, just a moving truck, a few boxes and silence. The only review she got after that wasn't online. It was whispered by a neighbor. May her clipboard rest in peace. And me, I learned something powerful. Bullies crumble when you don't bow to them, especially when they're hiding secrets of their own. Sometimes justice isn't loud, it's steady, patient, and absolutely satisfying. And if you're wondering, yes, I still grill every weekend. The only inspection, I get now is from my cousin when he checks whether I burned the burgers again. The neighborhood feels normal, calm, even friendly. Funny how one person's obsession with control can choke an entire community, and how quickly things bloom again when that grip breaks. Sometimes one small stand reminds us what community truly means. If you enjoyed this story and want more HOA justice like this, make sure to subscribe, drop a like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps these stories reach more people.